What is going on, guys? Shinobi here, and I haven't made a Diablo 3 video in a little bit, probably about a week or so, because not much has been going on. However, a lot is going on today. In the background, you'll see some footage of me just doing random farming and stuff like that, just kind of grind out some gear and make a little bit of extra gold and everything like that. But today, we're talking about the long-awaited patch 1.0.7, aka the PvP patch. It's not going to be as spectacular as I think a lot of people were hoping. When the game was released back in May 25th, 2012, last year, the PvP did not come out, and it, kind of stirred people wrong in a lot of ways. But finally, it will be out soon, probably within the next couple weeks and everything like that. However, I'm going to talk about each thing about the patch, and not only just the PvP, but the rest of the stuff as well. Kind of give you some of my tips on, give me some insight of my own. And you can also, I put a link down below. You can go look at the patch notes yourself. You want to just read them thoroughly. It's not really huge patch notes, but it's definitely not too bad. So let's get into that right now, and I'll start off with the most important one, which is about PvP. So starting off with PvP, this is pretty much how it works. It's pretty much PvP dueling. You can do 1 versus 1, you can do 1 versus 3, you can do whatever. It's pretty much, it goes up to 4 players in a free-for-all format, which I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in just a second. The way that it works is to duel another player, you need to speak with a guy named Neck the Brawler. He's at the inn in New Tristram. Speaking with him, it'll take you and your party. You can go by yourself, you don't have to have other people, to the Scorched Chapel. It's a new zone designed specifically for PvP combat, and pretty much there are 4 places designed in this area, which would be the church, the graveyard, the river, and the lake. From what I've seen, it looks kind of like an arena-based type thing. However, it's more of a free-for-all type thing. So dueling in there, that's pretty much how it's going to work. And I'm going to give you some more information as well too, just looking over some of the stuff here. This is kind of important information that people are really interested about. How is it going to work as far as when you die, whatever. If you die in the dueling world, you'll be resurrected at the dueling zone. This is the same thing for hardcore players as well. If you're in the hardcore difficulty, you're actually not going to lose your character forever. I personally don't like that. I think that if you want to play hardcore, that's the whole reason behind playing hardcore. I think the reason they went with this to begin with is they want people to get, this is kind of like a little taste of what PvP is going to be like in the future. I'm sure that it's going to be a lot more awesome in the future, but this is kind of just like the beginning steps of it. They just want you to get in there, they want you to get comfortable with dueling people, and they don't want you to lose your character right off the bat because you knew nothing about PvP, because in my opinion I feel like PvP is going to be a lot different than just killing the chant pack or something like that. You don't take any durability loss or anything like that as well, which not really a big deal. And when you're done, you can use a town portal to leave, or you can click on the little portal thing there too to leave as well. In my overall opinion on the whole PvP thing, and I will get footage of it, by the way, I'm making this video before the PTR is released, so that's why you're just seeing random footage in the background. But in my opinion, people ask me the most important question they always ask me is, Shinobi, what do you think the best class is going to be for PvP? And to tell you the truth, 100%, I cannot tell you which one's going to be the best. However, in this kind of format, where it's a free-for-all format, I feel like the classes that have better survivability are just going to do better. Because if you get, single target down, 3 of them are all on you at the same time, you need to be able to survive that. And some of the glass cannon classes can't really survive that. So, when a match starts, people are probably going to go after the squishiest character first to begin with. So classes like monks and barbs and stuff like that, you may actually see make it to the end of a 4-player free-for-all, and then they'll fight at the end type thing. However, that's not 100%. I mean, I know a lot of classes, especially like my Demon Hunter, I have different specs and everything like that, one of which is a kind of tanking spec. I have another one that's a high damage spec. So I think if you want to really go into this with being the most prepared, I think you just have multiple specs ready to go, multiple sets of gear ready to go, and see which works the best for you. Additionally, they are making some changes to some classes, not huge changes, but they probably will impact the game a decent amount. Wizards and monks are getting damage bonuses to some of their abilities that the Blizzard wants people to utilize a lot more. A lot of the big spirit spenders for monks are going to be just increased in damage and everything like that. You can look at the website. I'll probably put like pictures on the video as well, showing just what they said in the patch notes, just on which abilities are going to get that buff. If you do play a wizard or a monk, go check those out. I personally play a demon hunter or a barbarian, so I don't really look too much into that. But yeah, so you can always go look at the patch notes down below. But I think that I like the fact that they're increasing damage on some of the classes and trying to balance it out. I think they're going to do a lot of changes to classes after PvP is released, though. Another thing they talk about in the patch notes is a lot of players always get really upset because they feel like they have to depend on the auction house, and they feel like they can't really make the best. The crafting thing has been kind of crappy. There's been some things you could craft in the past that were good, but you can't really make like eye level 63 stuff pretty much, and it's all just like the lower property. There are like the lower properties and like the the stats that aren't quite as good as things you can get through the auction house. So they are actually adding a new recipe that you can get, which is going to be the Archon set. Now, if you've never heard of it before, the Archon set is pretty much an eye level 63 set that usually gets better stats, the shoulders, the chest, whatever. But they're only rare items. It's not legendary items or anything like that. So I think that it's nice that they're trying to make blacksmithing better in Diablo 3. I think they have a long way to go. I think there should be more very useful legendary recipes, not just the Hellfire Rain or anything like that. So in the future, they did say they're going to be implementing more of that stuff, but knowing Blizzard, they just want to do things a little bit at a time. And pretty much how it works is the Archon recipe, the chess piece, you can purchase it from Squirt the Peddler for 1.5 million gold, and then you can just craft it and everything like that. The rest of the recipes have a chance to drop randomly in the world, but also have a 50% chance to drop off the following bosses, which would be Skeleton King, Spider Queen, Magda, Zoltan Kuhl, Gom, Spider Lady, Sadaya, Rakanoth, and Azul. All of these ones have a 50% chance off them if you have 5 stacks of Nephilim Valor. Which I think 50% chance is incredibly too high. Like, why do they make it that easy to get that stuff? I mean, when I first looked at this, I thought, okay, cool, these recipes drop, so if people find them, one tip I could give you is to sell them on the auction house right away. Don't use them right away. Sell them on the auction house if you want to make some extra gold. That's going to be the max value, because that's just going to come down and down and down over time. However, a 50% chance to drop off of the bosses really just makes that value much lower, because it's going to be on the auction house like crazy. In the first day, you might be able to make a good profit off of it by doing that, but after that, it probably won't be very good. They're coming up with a new gem as well, a new tier gem above the current one, ones that you can craft and everything like that. So that'll be something as well. So if you do find that recipe, I believe it's going to be a recipe. If you find that, I would sell that on the auction house too. I mean, that's probably going to sell really well in the beginning, make a bunch of gold off of that, which would be pretty nice. And they're actually trying to make the other gems that aren't the emerald gems for your weapons a little bit better, trying to buff those a little bit, so that, typically, like if you're a demon hunter and you're just going for damage, you're just pretty much going to go with the 100% crit damage gem, right? So that's pretty much how it's been. So they're trying to implement other things to give you guys some more options on pretty much making your gems selection a little bit different than just always going with the emerald gem. Next one here, Monster Power is going to be implemented in public games as well. I personally almost never play public games. I mean, I personally am a YouTuber, so I have a lot of people on my friends list that, have subscribers and one I can play with. So if I ever want to play with someone, I always have people to play with, and I know they're good players. I don't like doing the random thing. However, if you like it, they're putting the Monster Power thing in public games, and then also they're increasing the experience bonus in Inferno as well. So that's another thing as well, I guess, so you can just Paragon level quicker, everything like that. So, just making things easier. That's what Blizzard does, not a big shocker there. After a little while, they usually make things a lot easier because they want everybody to be able to do it. Eventually, they're going to want everybody to be level 100 in Paragon levels and just make it incredibly easy. And it's not something that's incredibly new, so that's just how it goes. But overall, not really that exciting of news, but it's something for you if you were interested in that. They're also doing a couple of things that I feel like have been long overdue. The first one is not that big of a deal, and I don't really see why they should be making this change, but the reflect damage monster affix thing that is on some champ mobs, and even on Siegebreaker and everything like that. I don't know if they're going to change it on Siegebreaker, but they did say the reflect damage thing, there's going to be a shield that you're going to see go around the champ pack or whatever, and it's going to come off and go on and come off and go on. That way you know when it has reflect damage and when it doesn't. I personally don't think it's that big of a deal. Some of the classes that have the hardest time with reflect damage would be a Demon Hunter, because they're so squishy and they take a lot of damage and they do a lot of damage. So when they pump out that damage, they can kill themselves. But if you time your smoke screen really well or your shadow power, it really doesn't matter. I think we're getting to the point of the game where resistance is pretty much on every piece of gear that you have, regardless of whatever class you are. So I don't really think that's a big deal. I think that might have been needed like 5 months ago, but not that big of a deal. The second thing is more of a big deal, which is Molten and Plague. Now, if you're not familiar with it, Molten and Plague are the two ground things you can stand on, especially something like a Barbarian. When you're whirlwinding around and you're standing on top of the poison, you're standing on top of the fire on the ground. In the past, Molten has done way more damage for some reason. I have no idea why, and they're finally going to level that out. Plague, the poison on the ground, is going to do more damage because it didn't do very much before, and then Molten's going to be taken down a little bit to do a little bit less damage. But that's pretty much everything, guys. That's my 2 cents on pretty much the patch. That'll be coming out. They do say that PTR will be out soon, so I'll be getting some footage on that, so make sure you're around to check that out. I've been, if you've never seen my channel before, I pretty much have taken Diablo 3 to the next level and beyond in every aspect, and then recorded everything and put it on YouTube to help you guys get better at the game, and then also just show off some cool entertaining stuff. So you know that I'm going to be doing that with PvP. I personally wish PvP was a lot better than this dueling thing. However, it's not going to stop me from playing it, and I'm probably just going to check it out. Who knows how long it'll be fun for, and how long it will be until they release more PvP stuff and more changes in Diablo 3, because I think that it's long overdue, and I think this game really needs a lot more changes. I really would like to see a lot more things happen before the expansion does come out, which we have no idea when that's going to be, but they did announce that it would be coming out. So anyway, until next time, my name is Shinobi, and I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.